It's a pleasant good evening and welcome to Newshour with me, Ibrahim Samura. Coming up into tonight's bulletin, the 44th session of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council at the ambassadorial level is underway in Freetown, organized by the ECOWAS Commission. Statistics Sierra Leone trains communication and public relations officers for the upcoming mock census. And Sierra Leone takes a bold step toward innovation and youth empowerment with the official launch of the Unipod at FBC. All these stories and more are lined up in this edition of Newshour. We start the news with the ECOWAS Commission. The 44th session of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council at the ambassadorial level is underway in Freetown, organized by the ECOWAS Commission. The two-day session brought together ambassadors from the ECOWAS member states to discuss pertinent issues bordering the region's political peace and security. Here is the report. Over the next 2 days, these ambassadors from the ECOWAS member states will be engaging in frank, constructive, and forward-looking discussions that will yield practical recommendations to strengthen peace, security, democracy, and stability in the region. The Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security ECOWAS Commission, Ambassador Dr. Abdel Fattah Musa, told his audience that the session was hosted at a moment when the community observed encouraging signs in terms of successful electoral processes, democratic transitions, constitutional reforms, which can be described as strides in the area of governance, while on the other hand, confronted with an increasingly complex security environment characterized by terrorism and violent extremism, transnational organized crime, marine insecurity, unconstitutional changes of government, intercommunal conflicts, and the mounting pressures of climate change and economic fragility.
This juxtaposition of progress and challenges compels us to act with unity, foresight, and determination. It reminds us that peace and security are collective endeavors, requiring sustained dialogue, solidarity, and coordinated action. The choices that we make today will determine whether our region advances towards stability and prosperity or falters under insecurity and vulnerability.
The chair, ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council at the ambassadorial level, and Sierra Leone's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Dr. Julius Sandin, said over the next 2 days they would consider memoranda from the ECOWAS institutions and provide advice arising from the review of memoranda to the Council of Ministers for the attention and policy directives of the authority of heads of states and governments.
We are meeting at a time when ECOWAS is navigating a complex mix of successes and challenges. This makes it a defining moment for the community. Today, we are contending with stability, democratic governance, economic activities, security and socio-political and security-related challenges as well. Our success stories are nearly overtaken by political, humanitarian, and security-related challenges.
During the session, the Council will review various memoranda on the political, security and humanitarian situations in the region and operationalize ECOWAS early warning and response centers and review modalities of financing ECOWAS electoral observation, among others. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown. In a related development, the ECOWAS resident representative has called for stronger regional action to advance the women, peace and security agenda, commending Sierra Leone for its exemplary leadership in promoting gender equality, inclusive governance and sustainable peace across West Africa. Ambassador John Azuma was speaking at the in-country capacity building workshop on the Continental Result Framework for monitoring and reporting on the Women, Peace and Security agenda held in Freetown. Here is the report. The ECOWAS resident representative to Sierra Leone, Ambassador John Azuma, described the workshop as a significant milestone in strengthening national and regional mechanisms, tracking progress in implementing the Women, Peace and Security agenda. According to Ambassador Zuma, the agenda was far more than a policy framework, but a transformative commitment that recognizes women as indispensable actors in political leadership, peace building, conflict prevention, mediation, humanitarian response, and post-conflict recovery, rather than merely as victims of conflicts. He noted that Sierra Leone has emerged as a regional model by demonstrating that sustainable peace and security can only be achieved when women are fully included in decision-making processes.
Through the operationalization of the Continental Results Framework, CRF, in West Africa, ECOWAS seeks to harmonize monitoring and reporting across member states, ensuring that achievements and challenges are captured in ways that inform national, regional, and continental strategies.
Steve Merritt from the European Union delegation in Sierra Leone said the gathering reflected a shared determination to transform international commitment into measurable actions that improve the lives of women and girls throughout the region. He lauded ECOWAS, the government of Sierra Leone, and all stakeholders for their continued dedication to promoting gender equality, peace building, and inclusive governance. He emphasized that gender equality remains a fundamental value of the European Union and an indispensable pillar for achieving lasting peace, security, and sustainable development. Director of Humanitarian and Social Inclusion at the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Mohamed Ibrahim, stressed that sustainable peace cannot be achieved without recognizing and promoting the leadership, voices, and contributions of women at every level of peace and security decision-making. Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, Dr. Aissata Mahawi, described the Women, Peace and Security agenda as a collective agenda to advancing women, peace and security processes, underscoring the timeliness of the engagement.
We know that adopting policies is not enough. We must build the systems, capacities and accountability mechanisms to translate our commitment into tangible results for the women and girls of Sierra Leone. This is precisely why this training is so critical, and I crave your indulgence that our focus must be this, that the issues of women are well represented in this training and also noted critically.
The workshop was designed to strengthen national capacity to implement the ECOWAS results framework for monitoring and reporting on the Women, Peace and Security agenda, while equipping stakeholders with practical tools to improve accountability and measure progress. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown. Statistics Sierra Leone has strengthened preparation for the 2026 population housing census by training communication and public relations officers for the upcoming mock census. The training was aimed at improving public awareness, promoting accurate census information, and supporting the successful conduct of the exercise across the country. Our reporter, Christiana Kamara, has more.
The one-day training brought together regional publicity officers, headquarters communication staff of Statistics Sierra Leone, and representatives from UNFPA and the Ministry of Information and Civic Education under the theme Building Effective Communication Capacity for the Successful Implementation of the Mock Census. Deputy Statistician General of Statistics Sierra Leone, Lansana Kane, said effective communication is critical to the success of the census process. He highlighted that communication officers play a key role in building public confidence, addressing misinformation, and ensuring that citizens understand the importance of participating in the census. Mr. Kane said governments, with support from development partners, including the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, has made significant investments in preparations for the 2026 population and housing census. He urged participants to use the training to strengthen their knowledge and effectively engage communities ahead of the mock census.
The theme here is about the mock census, but broadening it resonates to the entire census itself. So I articulate mock is just like a dress rehearsal. So this training has to be escalated, has to be broadened to a bigger training or for a bigger purpose. So it's mock, we're training you for mock, for you to go and do mock publicity, but we also, by and large, or on the way of it, we want you to understand the entire census processes, what is required, and to be able to defend the censuses when you're asked to do so, whenever you're asked to do so.
Director of Census and Geographic Information Systems, Abdullah Salia Brahima, said the mock census is an important stage in testing census systems, digital data collection tools, and operational procedures before the nationwide census. He explained that lessons from the exercise will help improve planning and address operational challenges ahead of the main census. Strategic Communications Advisor at the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, Mohamed Jawad Niale, described the census as a national civic responsibility and called on communication officers to deliver accurate, consistent, and timely information to the public.
As a ministry, we are committed to working with our colleagues at Statistics Sierra Leone to ensure that we keep hammering home the importance of the census and ensure that people see it as a civic responsibility to welcome, encourage, and work together with the enumerators that will be in the field, and also ensure that we get our credible data.
UNFPA's Chief Technical Advisor, Dr. Collins Opio, reaffirmed the organization's commitment to providing technical and financial support to ensure that Sierra Leone conducts a credible census that meets international standards and produces reliable data for national development. The training covered census mapping, questionnaire administration, data security and confidentiality, media engagement, crisis communication, rumor management, and regional communication planning, with participants expected to lead public sensitization efforts ahead of the mock census scheduled for later this year. SLBC News in Freetown, Christiana Kamara reporting.
Sierra Leone has taken a bold step toward innovation and youth empowerment with the official launch of the Unipod Sierra Leone at Frabe College. With innovation now at the heart of development, the Unipod Sierra Leone is expected to empower young people to transform ideas into real solutions and economic opportunities. Emmanuel Williams has more details.
We will now officially commission this Unipod. Thank you.
In a major move to transform ideas into innovation, the government of Sierra Leone, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, has officially launched the Unipod Sierra Leone at Frabe College. The ceremony, which brought together government officials, development partners, university authorities, and students, marked a new chapter in youth-driven enterprise and technological advancement. Uniport Sierra Leone is part of UNDP's Pan-African Timbuktu initiative designed to turn universities into centers of innovation by providing tools for digital fabrication, business incubation, mentorship, and startup development. The facility will enable young people to transform ideas into practical solutions while linking research, technology, and entrepreneurship. President Julius Maada Bio was represented at the ceremony by the Chief Minister, who officially launched the facility.
Together we will deliver, and people say, who's staying when they deliver? But today is an example, and there are many of those examples. Together we are delivering. On behalf of His Excellency, the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, on behalf of myself as the Chief Innovation Officer, and on behalf of the leadership of the university as a lecturer here, I now officially launch the Uniport Sierra Leone. Thank you very much.
Deputy Vice Chancellor Andrew Bayo encouraged students to make effective use of the facility by engaging in meaningful research and innovation. The Chancellor of the University of Sierra Leone emphasized that a modern university must go beyond teaching by empowering students to turn ideas into practical solutions. Private sector support was also highlighted, with Africell represented by the CEO of AfriMoney, who stated that they will continue to support and enhance students' innovation, including the use of free Wi-Fi for all students on campus. UNDP resident representative Frederick Amphia noted that the initiative presents an opportunity for young people to convert electronic waste into income, while also tapping into digital platform for financial growth. Minister of Communication, Technology and Innovation, Salim Abba, stressed the importance of moving ideas into commercialization, adding that innovation must be protected and supported. Meanwhile, the Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Hajara Matulaiwi, described the Uniport as a platform where students, industry, and partners can collaborate to develop solutions in key sectors such as health, agriculture, and education. She further emphasized that access to innovation must not be limited to Freetown, but extended to young people across the country. The launch featured an unveiling, ribbon-cutting ceremony, guided tour of the facility, and innovation exhibition showcasing ideas from young Sierra Leoneans. For LCBC News, Emmanuel Williams reporting.
Sierra Leone has welcomed 3 new diplomatic envoys as President Julius Maada Bio received their letters of credence at State House. The High Commissioners of Nigeria and Jamaica, along with the Ambassador of Angola, pledged to deepen cooperation in trade, tourism, investment, and regional integration. SLBC State House correspondent Margaret Senge reports.
Sierra Leone has taken another step to strengthen its diplomatic ties with Africa and the Caribbean. President Julius Maada Bio formally received the letters of credence of the new High Commissioners of Nigeria and Jamaica and the Ambassador of Angola at State House. Welcoming the envoys, President Bio congratulated them on their appointment and assured them of his government's full support. He reaffirmed Sierra Leone's commitment to stronger partnerships in peace, security, trade, agriculture, education, human capital development, and sustainable growth. The president urged diplomats to serve as bridges between Sierra Leone and their respective countries, turning shared priorities into practical cooperation.
Thank you very much, Madam High Commissioner. Again, on behalf of the government of the People's Radio, I welcome you to Sierra Leone and Freetown. Our two nations have had relationship even before independence, and that relationship continues. issues, both at the official level and also at the individual level. There's so much between our two countries that all we can do is to support the systems to make them thrive and to better this relationship.
President Bio also called for greater collaboration in mining, agriculture, youth empowerment, food sovereignty, and economic transformation, saying stronger bilateral relations will create new opportunities for all.
For the youth, they are a blessing. We are the youngest continent investing in our youth so that they can actually take leadership in the world in a more meaningful way. Of course, it is incumbent upon us to do it. If we don't do it, they can also be a source of problem. So whichever way is good for us. But let's avoid the problem by investing in them. And these are all ideas that we can exchange at different levels.
In their separate remarks, the envoys thanked President Bio and the people of Sierra Leone for the warm welcome. The pledge to strengthen cooperation in trade, investment, agriculture, tourism, and cultural exchange. Nigeria's High Commissioner, Mrs. Ayolutha Agbumude, conveyed greetings from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to expanding cooperation in security, youth empowerment, and human capital development.
Under your leadership, Your Excellency, and the guidance of my President, I shall dedicate myself to strengthening this relationship, particularly in some priority areas of peace and security, and also of trade and investment, as well as youth empowerment, human capital development that will create enduring opportunities for the well-being of our two people.
Jamaica's High Commissioner to Sierra Leone, resident in Abuja, His Excellency Lincoln George Downer, said he had already begun discussions with the National Investment Board and the Sierra Leone's Chamber of Commerce to identify new investment opportunities. He also highlighted plans to expand cooperation in tourism, culture, trade, air service, and creative industries.
I am here and have been mandated to drive bilateral relations in terms of tourism, culture, creative industries, air services, trade and investment. And the work has already begun. We thank you for sending your tourism minister to Jamaica in January. She experienced Reggae Month in February, which was quite delightful. It's an entire month of celebration of reggae. We also are keen to conclude the Memorandum of Understanding for Tourism Cooperation. And with respect to air services, we also wish to conclude in short order as well the bilateral air services agreement, because that is pivotal to the...
Angola's ambassador-designate, Eustaquio Wanario Cubato, stressed the importance of reconnecting African nations and the diaspora while unlocking new economic opportunities across the continent. The envoys also welcomed Sierra Leone's role in advancing regional integration through the African Continental Free Trade Area, describing stronger continental partnerships as key to Africa's economic future. With the presentation of credentials completed, the three diplomats are expected to begin their full diplomatic engagements in Sierra Leone. From State House, I am Margaret Senga reporting for SLBC News.
Now to the judiciary. Court of Appeal Judge Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens has sentenced 5 men to 8 years imprisonment each for the robbery and murder of Reverend Father Augustine Dauda Amadou in Kenema. The 6th defendant was sentenced to 14 years imprisonment for receiving stolen property. Our court reporter, Muhammad Sibe Kuruma, tells us more.
The convicts Martin Salu, Breshe Soare, Fode Salu, John Bangali, Joseph Jikamaji Kamara, and Fode Alassane Cissé were convicted for conspiracy to commit aggravated robbery, conspiracy to murder, and receiving stolen goods. The first 5 convicts were involved in the robbery and killing of Reverend Father Augustine Dauda Amadou and robbed him of his Lenovo laptop valued at $350 United States dollars and 5,000 leones cash. The 6th convict, Fode Alassane Cissé, was found guilty of receiving the stolen laptop while knowing it was unlawfully obtained. Justice Stevens stated that all the defendants had initially pleaded not guilty, but were convicted after the prosecution presented evidence proving the case beyond reasonable doubt. The judge noted that some of the convicts had made statements to the police admitting their involvement in the crime. He added that 2 among the defendants, Breshe Soare and Joseph Jikamaji Kamara, acknowledged their role in the killing, while Fode Salu admitted knowledge of the planned attack but failed to report it to the appropriate authorities. Some of the defendants later claimed that their confessional statements to the police were obtained under duress, but the court refused their claims. Justice Momoja Stevens said their statements contained detailed accounts linking them to the planning and execution of the crime. He added that medical evidence indicated that Reverend Father Amadou suffered a broken neck and a fractured right hand before being found dead in a pool of blood inside a toilet. He described the killing as brutal and senseless, stating that the convict had no justification for taking the life of a religious leader. Justice Stevens further noted that Breshe Soare was already serving a previous life sentence before escaping from prison and committing the offense before the court. The convicts pleaded that the judge tampers justice with mercy, except Soare, who denied criminal responsibility. The defense lawyer from Legal Aid Board, Karim Kagu, pleaded for mercy on behalf of the defendants, while state lawyer Patrick Lumumba Williams reminded the court that the minimum sentence for the offenses was 14 years. Having heard the submissions of the prosecution and the defense, Justice Stevens sentenced Martin Salu, Breshe Soare, Fode Salu, John Bangali, and Joseph Jikamaji Kamara to 80 years imprisonment each, while the 6th defendant, Fode Alassane Cissé, was sentenced to 14 years for receiving stolen property. He concluded that the sentences be served consecutively. For SLBC News, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
The Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs has held a stakeholders consultation to advance the transformation of the Civil Service Training College into a public service academy. The engagement, which brought together representatives from the civil service and the wider public sector, also featured the presentation of a newly developed curriculum that will guide the college's transition into a modern academy equipped to meet the evolving demands of public service delivery. Joseph Mosire Suma reports.
The government of Sierra Leone officially announced the transformation of the Civil Service Training College into a public service academy during the commemoration of World Public Service Day. The reform forms part of government's broader agenda to strengthen the country's public service architecture, one of its 5 flagship big game changers. Previously, the Civil Service Training College focused exclusively on building the capacity of civil servants. However, the new Public Service Academy will have an expanded mandate. According to the Registrar of the Public Service Academy, Mohammed Taylor, the newly developed curriculum broadens the institution's scope to provide professional training not only for civil servants, but for all public servants whose salaries are paid from the Consolidated Revenue Fund.
The civil service is just a small segment of the public service. Public service now, of course, entails virtually everybody in this country that collects money from the Consolidated Fund, in terms of salary, is a public servant. So we are talking of the entire public service now. And the important thing about this institution is now all public servants have to go through this institution. You know, the moment you are employed, you have to do induction training before you are released to your respective ministry, department or agency.
Director of Public Administration at the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs, Momo Conte, said the consultation was aimed not only at introducing the new curriculum, but also at presenting its content to stakeholders for review ahead of its commencement.
Now, since it is for the public service, we have to develop a curriculum, that will address the issues of the change of nomenclature. So that curriculum, through EDEP, they hired a consultant in European Union. We hired a consultant by the name of Professor Ezekiel Doemanu, who is the current Deputy Vice Chancellor of IFAM. So he developed the documents with consultation and validation. Then today, as you are seeing the banner, is going to be a training. The training all is to tell civil servants what entails into these documents, into this curriculum. So why we are here is for curriculum trainings, for public servants to know what will be their career progression in terms of capacity building.
Delivering the keynote address, Assistant to the Secretary to the Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service, Patrick Momosama, described the transformation as the beginning of a new era in public sector capacity development, emphasizing the government's commitment to building a professional, efficient, and result-oriented public service.
This institution represents a new era in public sector capacity development. It is designed to serve as Sierra Leone's premier center of excellence for leadership development, policy innovation, professional training, executive education, and continuous planning for public servants at all levels. This program continues to strengthen key public sector reform institutions, including the Human Resource Management Office, the Public Service Commission, the Public Service Academy, and the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs.
As the transformation gathers momentum, officials say priority will now be given to finalizing the curriculum framework, training personnel, upgrading infrastructure and faculty, and positioning the Public Service Academy as a center of excellence for public service learning in Sierra Leone and across Africa. Yusuf Mosire Suma, SLBC News, Freetown.
The Dorothy Springer Trust has called for strong action to ensure that children and young persons with disabilities are fully included in Sierra Leone's education system under the country's radical inclusion agenda. The call was made during a press conference held at the organization head office in Freetown, attended by representatives of the media, civil society organizations, and disability community. Harold Williams has the story.
The advocacy campaign themed Strengthening Disability Inclusion in Sierra Leone's Radical Inclusion Agenda is being implemented by the Dorothy Springer Trust in partnership with One Family People and supported by Lilian Funds. Presenting the campaign statement, Program Manager Sonny Soiree emphasized the theme, No Radical Inclusion Without Disability Inclusion, a call to action for Sierra Leone's children and young persons with disabilities. He called on government, policymakers, development partners, and education stakeholders to invest in inclusive education so that no child is excluded because of disability. Founder and Chief Executive Officer of the Dorothy Springer Trust, Dr. Abdoulaye Doumbouya, launched this campaign with a public advocacy brief titled Strengthening Disability Inclusion Within Sierra Leone's Radical Inclusion Agenda, ensuring that no child is left behind. Dr. Doumbouya acknowledged Sierra Leone's commitment to inclusive education through national laws and policies, but listed implementation inadequacies. He said major challenges include low school enrollment among children with disabilities, inaccessible learning environments, limited availability of assistive learning materials, shortages of trained special needs teachers, persistent stigma and discrimination, weak disability data systems, and inadequate funding for the government's special educational needs and disability disabilities unit. The trust called for increased public investment for inclusive education, strengthened teacher training on disability inclusion, improved disability data collection, accessible school infrastructure and learning materials, stronger accountability mechanisms, and meaningful participation of persons with disabilities in education policy and decision-making. The Dorothy Springer Trust concluded by urging government, development partners, civil society organizations, and all education stakeholders to work collectively to translate Sierra Leone's radical inclusion agenda into meaningful action, ensuring that no child is left behind regardless of disability.
The Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, in collaboration with the International Labour Organization, has held a National Technical Working Committee meeting on the Sierra Leone Decent Work Country Program 2023 to 2027. This Technical Working Committee meeting focuses on employment creation, expanding social protection, and strengthening social dialogue to promote decent work in Sierra Leone. Aminata Fofana reports.
International Labour Organization Senior Program Officer Chineye Emeka Anuna said the meeting was the fourth National Steering Committee session for the program's implementation. She explained that the committee provides guidance, monitors progress, and ensures the program's objectives are achieved. She furthered that the program was developed through consultations between government and social partners, adding that this is a nationally owned framework supported by the ILO. She also highlighted the importance of protecting workers' rights and developing skills that meet labor market needs.
National Technical Steering Committee is supposed to provide guidance. You are the owners, the custodians of the DWCP document. So you are supposed to provide guidance, monitor on the implementation of the documents. That's why we're here.
Making his statements, the Director of Policy, Planning and Research at the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, Bobo Ahmed Brema, said the program supports government priorities by promoting safe workplaces, expanding social protection, and improving occupational safety and health.
Promoting decent work over a defined period, which actually was stated, and the DWCP in Sierra Leone focus on support, creating more and better jobs, especially for young people and women.
Project Officer at the Sierra Leone Employers Federation, Yvette Kagbo, identified key labor challenges including youth unemployment, skills gaps, informality, and workplace safety concerns. She called for policies that support job creation while balancing workers' rights and employers' needs. Participants also made vital recommendations to strengthen the program and ensure its response to emerging labor market challenges.
Earlier, the International Labour Organization, ILO, in collaboration with the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, held a capacity building workshop on the ratification of 6 ILO conventions at the Atlantic Hotel in Freetown. The workshop focused on key international labor frameworks, including those on maternity, protection, and occupational safety and health. Aminata Fofana again.
The workshop brought together government officials, employers and workers' representatives to discuss the adoption and implementation of 6 key labor conventions aimed at strengthening workers' rights and promoting decent work in Sierra Leone. The Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security, Mohamed Rahman Swari, said the initiative demonstrates the government's commitment to achieving Sustainable Development Goal 8 by improving working conditions, enhancing workplace safety and protecting workers' rights. He further assured that governments would continue to work closely with social partners to fast-track the ratification process and ensure that the provisions of the conventions are fully integrated into national labour policies and practices through inclusive tripartite dialogue.
The Sierra Leone Employers Federation, ministries, departments and agencies here present, development partners and all stakeholders for your continuing partnership and commitment to strengthening labor governance in Sierra Leone. Together, let us seize this opportunity to build a labor market that is safe, productive, inclusive and resilient, particularly one that protects the dignity of.
A representative from the International Labour Organization, Chineye Emeka Anuna, emphasized that the 6 ILO conventions, including those on maternity protection, occupational safety and health, migrant workers, and the elimination of violence and harassment in the workplace, must be ratified and followed by domestication through national legislation, effective implementation, and social dialogue to strengthen Sierra Leone's labour system.
We are proud to walk this journey with you from today's workshop through ratification and onward to full implementation. On this note, I wish each and every one of us productive discussions and a successful workshop.
Representatives of the Sierra Leone Employers Federation and Labour Congress highlighted the importance of aligning national labour laws with international standards to create safe, inclusive and violence-free workplaces. They noted that the conventions address maternity protection, occupational safety, the rights of migrant workers, and the elimination of violence and harassment in the workplace. Participants reaffirmed their commitment to working together to strengthen labour laws and promote decent work for all Sierra Leoneans.
You are watching Newshour coming to you live from the Salon Broadcasting Corporation from Broadcasting House here at New Englandville. We now take stories making headlines around the world.
This is the international news and I am Cecilia Alice Sisse. A new World Health Organization report has warned that cancer is placing a devastating human and economic burden on societies worldwide. Experts say the chances of surviving cancer often depend on where a person lives. While 1 in 4 people in Europe and North America is expected to develop cancer, only around 1 in 12 dies from the disease. The report highlights the stark disparity in breast cancer survival. In high-income countries, nearly 90% of women diagnosed with the disease survive for at least 5 years. With an estimated 20.6 million new cancer cases and nearly 10 million deaths each year, the WHO says annual diagnosis would climb to almost 35 million by 2050 unless urgent action is taken to expand prevention, improve treatment and reduce global inequalities in cancer care. The federal government of Nigeria has reaffirmed its resolve to dismantle drug trafficking networks, curb the growing menace of substance abuse, and expand access to treatment and rehabilitation. The government declared that Nigeria could not achieve sustainable development while its youth remained vulnerable to illicit drugs. Speaking on behalf of UNODC country representative, Mr.
We now bring you entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to another update of our exciting entertainment news with me, Abdul Mansari. In this edition of entertainment news, Crack Twist and Lyrical Joe released new song titled Don't Break. And of course, the official video of the root song is out. Now, the music scene is about to get louder as Crack Twist, an award-winning Afro hip-hop star from Sierra Leone, with his hit songs like Fix Sam, Don't Play, and Beach Boy, has collaborated with Ghanaian hip-hop rapper and songwriter Lyrical Joe. And now the stars has dropped a banger track titled Don't Break. Let's feel the teaser of this song.
They thought I would break, but I stand like a soldier. Them fi say I go fail, with all the worries on my shoulder. They thought I would break, but my voice is getting louder. Them fi say I go fail, but me God it take me higher. If you fall 10 times, you for grab, don't let the devil win. Don't let the devil win. You pull on your proud, you the malice, God, don't let the devil win.
Yeah, the song is really sweet and I love it indeed. It's gonna be a hit, I presume. And now fans are already calling it a power link between West Africa and the international scene. Don't Break might just be the next song on everyone's playlist. And finally, the Running Out of Time Salon song was launched days ago, and now the official video of the song has also been released. The video of the song has gained over 2.3k views on YouTube, not only on YouTube, but other streaming platforms, gaining widespread of recognition across the nation. The content of the song is rich with love, unity, and culture. The video is super classy. Here it is.
So make we count one time. Left the buckle talking all the bad arts behind. So make we count one time. Show them say now we God don't send.
We dey run out of time, so make up your mind. Now we forbid the change when we run see. Salon now we own, we all get we roll. Now we forbid the change when we run see. If we not let the flow, the waiting they go. Now we forbid the change when we run see. Salon now we own, we all get we roll. Now we forbid the change when we run see.
Oh wow, if you know how in the bay.
These three Gen Z stars, Drizzlick, April, Boy, Danny, and incredible JJ did justice to the song. Indeed, the song is classic. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of Entertainment News, and I have been your presenter, Abdul Mansari. Bye-bye.
Well, from entertainment, we now take sports.
Hello and welcome to the sporting updates that keeps you in the know. And by the way, my name is Abdul Kabia, and thank you so much for your time. In today's edition, we begin with the Central One Football Association Champions League. Well, the chairman of the Central One Football Association, Philip Sinclair Cole, has announced that the 2026 edition of the Champions League will kick off on the 19th of July between the reigning champions, Fullerton Community, and that of Ku Bay Community. Well, that will be an exciting match to witness as well. Well, this report was filed in by our intern reporter Alimami Conte.
Football administrators, coaches, captains, referees, community leaders and security personnel gathered at the local Baptist Church Hall, Circular Road, Freetown for a one-day stakeholders seminar organized by the Central One Football Association ahead of the 2026 inter-area football competition. The annual tournament, regarded as one of Sierra Leone's premier grassroots football competitions, has over the years provided a platform for young footballers to showcase their talent while strengthening unity among communities across Freetown. The COFA chairman, Philip Sinclair Cole, said the seminar was designed to familiarize participants with the competition's rules and regulations while emphasizing discipline, respect for match officials, and peaceful coexistence throughout the tournament.
A competition where you get all the people them with the camp and also post time people. So they try to prepare the mindset as against the competition. For me, they come in a good frame of mind so there will be a very good competition. For example, we get an education towards taking violence when at the theme of the competition. So we need a lot of education with that.
Representing the Western Area Football Association, WAFA, Taplima Mansari, described football as a powerful tool for peace and social cohesion, urging players, supporters and officials to uphold the values of sportsmanship and protect the image of the game.
The police can do their own, but if we self not support them, we will fail. We self go do we own as administrators and football loving fans. If the police not support me and other stakeholders they not support me, now in vain. So it means to say, always today to so now a collaboration we for do.
This year's tournament has secured the backing of Elephant Bet as its main sponsor. Company representative Cheroba reaffirmed the company's commitment to community football.
Elephant Bet will provide the staff prize for one of the successful of the match or for the entire league, where it will be 110,000. Only 10 million for the staff price. So Elephant Bet get that name cover.
Over the years, the COFA inter-area competition has become an important talent development platform, producing players who have gone on to feature in Sierra Leone's domestic leagues and strengthening community engagement through football. SLFA Technical Director John Kista called for greater discipline from coaches and technical staff.
It's on the bench. Team managers, the one that will lead and communities, the coaches, we have to lead by example. If we don't, I think we have to find we have consequences around that. And we can support that from a technical perspective.
With the countdown to kick off now underway, organizers believe the success of the 2026 COFA inter-area football competition will depend not only on the quality of football on display, but also on the commitment of players, officials and supporters to uphold discipline and fair play throughout the tournament.
We flip our attention to the 2026 FIFA Men's Football World Cup. The stage is set for an exciting weekend of football as the 2026 FIFA World Cup enters the quarter-final stage, with only 8 teams remaining in the race to become world champions, following a fascinating round of 16 packed with dramatic finishes, outstanding performances and memorable moments. The competition now intensifies as the world's best teams battle for an exclusive space in the semi-finals. Each fixture promises high-quality football with talented footballers, experienced coaches and passionate supporters, all aiming for World Cup glory. Former champions, emerging contenders and surprise packages are still in contention and ensuring that every match will be fiercely contested. As the tournament reaches its decisive stages, every goal, save and tactical decision could determine who advances to the semi-finals and who sees their World Cup dream come to an end. Football fans around the world are eagerly awaiting 4 captivating encounters that could produce unforgettable moments in the FIFA World Cup history. France versus Morocco, Spain versus Belgium, Norway versus England, and Argentina versus Switzerland. Interesting matchups. And that ends your update. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
Many thanks to Arukabia for that latest updated local and international sports. Well, now to end the news, the main point again. The 41st session of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council at the ambassadorial level is on the way in Freetown, organized by the ECOWAS Commission. The 2-day session brings together ambassadors from the ECOWAS member states to discuss pertinent issues bordering the region's political, peace and security. Statistics Sierra Leone has strengthened preparation for the 2026 population and housing census by training communication and public relations officers for the upcoming mock census. The training was aimed at improving public awareness, promoting accurate census information, and supporting the successful conduct of the exercise across the country. And Sierra Leone has taken a bold step toward innovation and youth empowerment with the official launch of the Unipod Sierra Leone at Frabe College. With innovation now at the heart of development, the Unipod Sierra Leone is expected to empower young people to transform ideas into real solutions and economic opportunities. Well, all that we have for you in this edition of News Hour, which came to you live from Stellar Broadcasting Corporation for Broadcasting House here at Mingnanville. News Hour returns tomorrow morning at 8. Continue to be a public broadcaster, the SLBC. Good night.